Welcome back to the Gallagher Convention Center in Midrand, where in under an hour from now, the South African Public Broadcasting Policy Review Colloquium will get underway. And one of the key issues that will be addressed here is the challenges facing the public broadcaster and how it can turn itself into the broadcaster of the future, taking into consideration the importance of the fourth industrial revolution. But here to talk to me about his presentation is the board chairperson of the SABC, Ndade Bongmusa Makhathini. Let's talk about your presentation. What is it going to entail?
Thank you. The first thing that we're going to cover today is just to share with everybody who's here the challenges that we face as the SABC. As people who work in there and who understand and who have diagnosed SABC clearly and thoroughly, we are in a better position to share with them what are the challenges we face. But of course, we also have to share with people what are the ideas that we have around solutions that needs to be done. At the heart of our challenges really is the funding and how do we make SABC financially viable and sustainable. But also secondly, how do we take advantage of the innovation and the changes that are happening in the broadcasting space. But the third thing really is looking at our funding model. The funding model that we have now works. All we need to do is to improve on some of the streams and maybe add new things like retransmission so that we can be in a position to attract more revenues. In essence, and also to commit our commitment as the SABC to continue doing our work and covering our mandate as the public broadcaster.
Let's talk about those finances. Now, we know that you went to Parliament over 2 weeks ago. You were requesting a guarantee of about 3 billion. You have now got a letter for 1.2 billion. What does that mean? Does that mean that you still have a shortfall, and what impact does it then have?
To clarify, we have not received any money at this stage, so our situation is the same as it was last week when we went to the other time when we went to Parliament. What we've received is a borrowing letter, which basically allows us to approach financial institutions to request for a facility of some form. But of course, the banks will still have to apply their own criteria to assess whether they are able to assist us with what we're looking for. So in terms of where we are with the finances, we're still in a financial dire situation as the SABC, and we're still struggling. And that's why we continue to work hard to find other ways and other avenues of making money.
Now, we've looked at different models of how public broadcasters are managed around the world. One that we can look at, I think that the SABC and probably other Anglophone, if you like, or Commonwealth countries was modeled on is the BBC, except that the difference now is that while the BBC board continues to be appointed, initially it was the Queen, we now know that it's appointed by the Minister, I think it's of Arts and Culture in that country, whereas here in South Africa, the board is appointed by Parliament. And one of the people that we have spoken to has said one of the challenges that may bring, even though it is seen as liberal in the sense that it doesn't necessarily put power in the hands of one person, in the person of the minister, one of the challenges may be that you as a member of the board will know who has appointed you among the parties in Parliament. Is that a fact, and do you see that as a challenge at all?
No, it is not a challenge. I mean, if you look at the process of appointing board members for the SABC, it's very transparent. And once you take office, you then start looking at what is at the best interest of SABC and South Africa. So it's not about partisan. It's not about being serving the interests of those who may have nominated you.
Thank you very much. The board chairperson of the SABC, Mr. Bongmusa Makhathini, he is here to present a paper on the challenges facing the South African public broadcaster, the SABC, but also how it can move on and become the broadcaster of the future. We expect as many as 300 people to sit in this room for 2 days and come up with ways to change and make the SABC a broadcaster that really meets its mandate in terms of serving the people of South Africa and perhaps the continent at large. Back to you in studio.